The text said, "Lose weight. Fix your hair. Don't embarrass me." She read it 17 times. Then deleted it. Then drove to her cousin's boutique and said 5 words. "Make me unforgettable." Now she's standing in a ballroom full of his colleagues wearing emerald and gold, and he just dropped a champagne glass. In 60 seconds, his boss is going to ask to meet her. In 90 seconds, she's going to smile and tell the truth about their marriage. And there's nothing he can do to stop it. If you are enjoying this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video and comment where you are watching from. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories. And trust me, you won't want to miss them. Now, let's go back 2 hours before, where it all started. The alarm didn't wake Nadia anymore. Her body had learned to rise before it screamed. She opened her eyes to darkness. The ceiling fan spun lazy circles above the bed. Derek's side was empty, sheets pulled tight like he'd never been there at all. He'd slept in his office again. 3rd night this week. She sat up. The hardwood floor was cold against her bare feet. Cold like everything else in this house. In the bathroom mirror, she practiced the routine. Shoulders in. Chin down. Eyes low. Make yourself smaller. Take up less space. Breathe quieter. Exist softer. Her reflection stared back. Dark brown skin, the color of wet earth after rain. High cheekbones. Full lips. Her grandmother's face. She touched her cheek, then pulled her hand away like she'd burned herself. She dressed in the walk-in closet. Gray sweater. Black pants. Nothing bright. Nothing that drew attention. The emerald blouse Aminata bought her last Christmas hung in the back, tag still on. She pushed it deeper into the shadows. Downstairs, the kitchen smelled like lemon cleaner. She'd scrubbed the counters at midnight, couldn't sleep, needed her hands busy. The espresso machine hissed to life. 2 eggs scrambled. Whole wheat toast, no butter. Sliced strawberries arranged in a small bowl. Orange juice, fresh squeezed, no pulp. She set his plate on the island. Checked the time. 5:47 a.m. He'd come down at 6 o'clock exactly. He always did. The townhouse was silent except for the grandfather clock in the hallway. Wait, no grandfather clock. The watch on her wrist ticked. That was the only sound. Nadia walked to the living room window. Beacon Hill looked like a postcard in early winter. Red brick buildings, gas lamps glowing yellow against the pre-dawn dark, frost on the iron gates. White people jogged past with expensive dogs. A woman in yoga pants waved at someone across the street. Nadia stepped back from the window before anyone could see her. On the mantel sat a photograph in a silver frame. Her and Derek, 10 years ago, both 25. They were at a street festival in Dakar. She wore a yellow dress, her hair natural and full, her smile so wide it looked like it might crack her face open. Derek's arm was around her waist, and he was looking at her like she'd hung the moon. She picked up the frame. Stared at the girl she used to be. "You're up early." Nadia flinched. The frame nearly slipped from her hands. Derek stood in the doorway. 6'2", lean from his Equinox membership, wearing a white undershirt and gray slacks. His face was the kind magazines called handsome. Sharp jaw, light brown skin, green eyes from his white mother. He kept his hair cut low, professional. "I made breakfast," she said. Her voice came out soft, apologetic. She hated how small it sounded. He walked past her to the kitchen. Didn't look at the photo. Didn't look at her. She followed. He sat at the island, scrolled through his phone while he ate. She stood by the sink, hands folded, waiting. "The gala is in 2 weeks," he said. Fork scraping against plate. "December 16th. The Plaza in New York. I remember. You'll need to look presentable." He still didn't look up. "Try not to embarrass me this time." Her chest tightened. "What did I do last time?" "You stood in the corner all night looking miserable. People asked if you were sick." It reflected poorly. "You told me to stay out of the way. I told you to be pleasant. There's a difference." He pushed his plate away, Half the food uneaten. Lose some weight before then. And do something about your hair. She looked down at her hands. Okay. He stood, grabbed his suit jacket from the back of the chair. I have back-to-back meetings today. Don't wait up. He kissed her forehead. Quick, mechanical, like checking a box. His lips were cold. Then he was gone. The front door closed. The lock clicked. Nadia stood in the kitchen alone. She looked at his plate. The eggs were perfect. The toast was perfect. Everything was perfect. She sat down on the floor. Right there on the cold tile. Her back against the cabinet. She pulled her knees to her chest and pressed her face into them. She didn't cry. She'd learned crying made her eyes puffy, and he hated that. She just sat there. Breathed. Counted to 60. Then stood up, cleared his plate, and washed the dishes. Derek Winters leaned back in his leather chair. The Boston skyline spread behind him like a trophy. His office took up the corner of the 15th floor. Glass walls. Minimalist furniture. A Forbes 30 under 30 plaque from 5 years ago. His assistant, Lauren, stood in the doorway. 26. Blonde hair pulled into a ponytail. Wait, can't use ponytail. Blonde hair loose around her shoulders. Blue eyes. Tight black dress that hugged every curve. Coffee, she said, setting the cup on his desk. Her fingers brushed his. 2 sugars like you like it. Thanks, Lauren. He smiled. The smile he gave clients. Warm. Charming. Empty. She didn't leave. So the gala. 2 weeks. Are you bringing your wife? His jaw tightened. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. He picked up the coffee, took a sip. It looks better. Company image. The CEO's big on diversity and family values. He said it like it tasted bad. Lauren perched on the edge of his desk. I could be your +1. If you wanted. He looked at her. Really looked. She was beautiful in the way magazines said women should be. Thin. Light. Easy. Tempting, he said. But no. She pouted. Actually pouted. He found it charming 3 months ago when they started this thing. Now it just annoyed him. His phone buzzed. Text from his VP, Marcus. Wait, can't use that name. Text from his VP, Garrett. CEO confirmed for Gala. Make sure you're on point. This could mean partner track. Derek's pulse jumped. Partner. The word tasted like gold. Another text, this one to Nadia. Lose some weight before the gala. And do something about your hair. He hit send. Locked his phone. Forgot about it. Lauren left. He had a meeting in 10 minutes. But first, he opened his desk drawer. Inside was a small wooden box. He opened it. A photo. Nadia at 23. Standing in front of a clinic in Dakar. White coat. Stethoscope around her neck. Her smile confident, proud. Dr. Nadia Osei. She'd saved lives. She'd been brilliant. He'd loved her then. Loved how she made him feel like he mattered, like he was good, like he could be better. Then he got the job at the firm. Then he met people who mattered. Then someone at a client dinner asked if his wife was from Africa, and laughed. Then he started seeing her through their eyes. Too dark. Too foreign. Too much. He closed the box. Shoved it back in the drawer. His phone buzzed again. Garrett. Bringing my fiancée. She's excited to meet Nadia. Derek's stomach turned. He typed back. She's looking forward to it. Liar. Nadia sat in the parking lot of Star Market. Hands gripping the steering wheel. Her phone was on the passenger seat. Derek's text glowing on the screen. Lose some weight before the gala. And do something about your hair. She'd read it 16 times. Each time the words sank deeper. Her hands moved to her stomach. Pressed. She wasn't overweight. She knew that. But Derek had a way of making her doubt what she knew. She picked up her phone. Opened the camera. Switched to front-facing. Her reflection filled the screen. She studied herself like she was evidence. Her skin. her nose, her lips, her hair pulled back in a low bun. Wait, can't use bun. Her hair pulled back and pinned flat. What was wrong with her? Everything, Derek's voice whispered in her head. Everything. She deleted the text, put the phone away, drove home. But instead of going inside, she sat in the driveway, stared at the house. This beautiful cold house that felt like a museum she wasn't allowed to touch. She pulled out her phone again, scrolled to Aminata's number. Her finger hovered over the call button. Then she put the phone down, started the car, drove. Derek came home late. The house was dark except for the light above the stove. Nadia was asleep upstairs, or pretending to be. He poured himself scotch, sat in the living room, stared at that photo on the mantel. The girl in the yellow dress looked happy, free. The man next to her looked like he believed in something. Derek picked up the frame. His thumb traced the glass over Nadia's face. For a second, just a second, something in his chest ached. Then his phone buzzed. Lauren, missing you. He put the photo down, drank the scotch, went to his office, locked the door. Upstairs, Nadia lay in bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. She thought about her grandmother. How she used to say, "Your skin is the night sky, child. The stars need darkness to shine." She thought about the emerald blouse in the closet. She thought about the gala. And for the first time in 3 years, she thought about what it would feel like to stop apologizing for being alive. Aminata's boutique sat between a Jamaican restaurant and a barbershop on Warren Street. The window display showed head wraps in gold and copper, dresses that looked like they'd been sewn from sunset. Nadia parked across the street, sat in her car for 10 minutes. Hands on the wheel, engine off. She'd driven here without thinking. Derek was at a conference in Providence. Wouldn't be back until tomorrow. She had the whole day. Freedom tasted like panic. Her phone buzzed. Text from Derek. Did you call that trainer I recommended? You need to start this week. She stared at the message. Her thumb hovered over the reply box. Then she turned off her phone, got out of the car, walked into the boutique. The door chimed. The smell hit her first. Shea butter, coconut oil, incense burning somewhere in the back. Music played low, Burn a Boy, something that made her think of home. Naughty. Aminata appeared from behind a rack of dresses. 32, curves that didn't apologize. Hair in long braids dyed copper at the ends. She wore a wrap dress in bright orange with gold hoops that caught the light. She stopped, stared at Nadia. "Oh baby," she whispered. "What did he do to you?" Nadia's throat closed. She tried to smile. "I'm fine. You're wearing gray. You hate gray." Aminata walked closer. "When's the last time you wore color?" Nadia couldn't remember. Aminata pulled her into a hug, held her there. Nadia's body went rigid, then soft. Then she was shaking. "Come here." Aminata led her to the back room. A small office with fabric samples everywhere, a desk covered in sketches, a purple velvet couch against the wall. Nadia sat. Aminata handed her tea. Rooibos, honey, the kind their grandmother used to make. "Talk to me." Nadia held the mug, watched the steam rise. "The gala is in 2 days." "Okay." "He told me to look presentable." Aminata's jaw tightened. "Presentable. He means, not like me." Nadia's voice cracked. "He sent me a list. Lose weight. Fix my hair. He didn't say it exactly like that, but I know what he means. He always means the same thing. Which is, be lighter. Be smaller. Be less African." The word hung in the air. Aminata set down her mug. "How long has this been happening?" "I don't know. 3 years. 4. Nadia pressed her palms to her eyes. It started small. Little comments. "Maybe skip dessert. That dress is too bright for this event. Can you pull your hair back? It's more professional." Then it got worse. He stopped touching me. Stopped looking at me. Started sleeping in his office. He's cheating. I know. And you stayed. I love him. The words came out automatic. Rehearsed. Aminata leaned forward. Nadi. Listen to me. That man doesn't love you. He owns you. There's a difference. You don't understand. When we met, he was different. He saw me. Really saw me. He used to say my skin was beautiful. He'd trace his fingers down my arm and say I looked like I'd been carved from night itself. Her voice broke. I don't know what changed. He got successful. Got around white people who validated his self-hate. And he started seeing you the way they do. Aminata's voice was hard. Baby, Derek hates himself. He's light-skinned with a white mama, and he spent his whole life trying to prove he belongs. When he was broke, you were his proof he was down, connected to the motherland. Now that he's corporate, you're his embarrassment. Nadia flinched. Don't. It's the truth. And you know it. Silence. The music from the front of the store bled through, something slower now, Asa, singing about pain. Nadia set down her tea. Her hands were shaking. Last month, his company had a photo shoot. For their website. He told me not to come. Said I'd be uncomfortable. But I saw the pictures online. He was there with his assistant Lauren. White girl. Blonde. She had her hand on his arm. Everyone was smiling. He looked happy. Naughty. He posts her on the company Instagram. But he's never posted me. Not once. We've been married 9 years, and his colleagues don't even know what I look like. Her voice rose. I put him through business school. I worked 2 jobs while he built that company. I gave up my medical career. I left my country. I left my family. For him. And now he can't even stand to be seen with me. The dam broke. She cried. Hard, ugly, the kind of crying that feels like throwing up. Aminata held her. Didn't say anything. Just held her. When Nadia finally stopped, her face was swollen, her eyes red. I'm sorry, she whispered. For what? For dumping this on you. Girl, shut up. Aminata handed her tissues. You're my blood. You don't apologize for bleeding. Nadia wiped her face. Looked at her cousin. I don't know how to leave him. Who said anything about leaving? Aminata stood. Walked to a rack in the corner covered with a sheet. First, you remember who you are. She pulled off the sheet. Underneath was a gown. Emerald green. Rich, deep, the color of forests after rain. The fabric was silk, but heavier structured. The neckline was a sharp V. The sleeves were long and fitted. Gold threading ran through the bodice like veins. The skirt was full but not excessive, cut to move with the body, not against it. I made this for you, Aminata said. 6 months ago. Was going to give it to you for your birthday, but you never came by. Nadia stood. Touched the fabric. It was soft. Alive. I can't wear this. Why not? Derek would lose his mind. It's too much. Too bold. Exactly. Aminata. When's the last time you wore something that made you feel beautiful? Not appropriate. Not acceptable. Beautiful. Nadia's hand fell away from the dress. I don't remember. Aminata pulled the dress off the rack. Held it up to Nadia's body. Stepped back. Smiled. This was made for your skin. For your body. For you. She met Nadia's eyes. Come to the gala as yourself. Not his accessory. Not his proof of charity. Yourself. Let me help you. Nadia's heart pounded. He'll be furious. Good. Let him be furious. Let him see what he threw away. What if people stare? Baby, they're going to stare anyway. Might as well give them something worth looking at. Nadia stared at the dress. At the gold threading. At the way the green seemed to glow. She thought about the gray sweater in her closet. The black pants. The way she practiced making herself smaller every morning. She thought about her grandmother. The woman who wore bright prints and bold lipstick and walked through Dakar like she owned the air itself. Your skin is the night sky, child. The stars need darkness to shine. The voice in her head was so clear it felt like her grandmother was standing right there. Nadia reached out. Took the dress. Okay. Aminata grinned. Yeah. Yeah. Nadia's hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. Help me. Aminata locked the front door. Flipped the sign to closed. Came back with bags. First, we need to talk about your hair. Nadia's hand went to her head automatically. Her hair was pulled back tight, flat against her scalp, edges slicked down with gel. She'd been wearing it like this for 2 years. Derek said it was more professional. What about it? When's the last time you wore it natural? Derek doesn't like it natural. Says it's too wild. Too unprofessional. Aminata's face could have cut glass. Take it down. What? Right now. Take it down. Nadia hesitated. Then reached back. Pulled out the pins. Her hair fell. Thick. Coiled. It framed her face in a soft cloud. Aminata smiled. There she is. Nadia looked in the mirror. She barely recognized herself. We're not straightening it. We're not hiding it. We're crowning it. Aminata pulled out a bag. Inside were gold hair accessories. Delicate pins shaped like leaves. A thin gold band meant to wrap around the crown. You're going to walk into that gala looking like royalty. Because you are. Nadia's eyes filled. I'm scared. I know. But you're doing it anyway. They worked for hours. Aminata pulled out makeup. Showed Nadia colors she hadn't worn in years. Gold for her eyelids. Deep plum for her lips. Highlighter that made her cheekbones catch light like sculpture. Your skin doesn't need to be lighter, Aminata said, brushing highlighter along Nadia's temples. It needs to be celebrated. Nadia watched in the mirror as her face transformed. Not into someone else. Into a version of herself she'd forgotten existed. Aminata held up the dress. Try it on. Nadia undressed slowly. Stood in her underwear, staring at her body in the mirror. The body Derek said was too much. Too curvy. Too heavy. She saw stretch marks on her hips. The softness of her stomach. The width of her thighs. I don't know if I can do this. Yes, you can. Aminata handed her the dress. Put it on. Nadia stepped into it. Aminata zipped the back. The dress fit perfectly. Hugged her waist. Flowed over her hips. The emerald made her skin look richer. The gold threading caught the light. She turned to the mirror. And stopped breathing. The woman staring back at her was a stranger. No, not a stranger. The woman she used to be. Before Derek. Before the shrinking. Before the gray. Oh my God, she whispered. Aminata stood behind her. You see it now. Nadia touched her face. Her chest. Her hips. I forgot. Forgot what? That I could look like this. Baby, you always looked like this. You just stopped letting yourself see it. Nadia turned. The dress moved with her. She felt powerful. Dangerous. Free. Then her phone buzzed on the couch. Text from Derek. Where are you? I've been calling. Why is your phone off? The feeling shattered. Aminata saw her face change. Don't. He's going to ask where I was. So lie. I don't lie to him. Why not? He lies to you. Aminata picked up the phone. Handed it to Nadia. Tell him you were running errands. Tell him whatever you want. But don't tell him about the dress. This is yours. Nadia stared at the phone. At Derek's name on the screen. For the first time in years, she felt the urge to disobey. She typed. Running errands. Phone died. I'll be home soon. Hit send. Her heart hammered. It was just a small lie. A nothing lie. But it felt like betrayal. Or freedom. She couldn't tell which. Derek was waiting when she walked in. He stood in the living room, arms crossed, jaw tight. Where were you? Nadia set down her purse, kept her voice calm. The store. I needed groceries. For 6 hours. I went to a few places. He studied her face, looking for cracks. She kept it smooth. The gala is Monday. 2 days. Are you ready? Yes. What are you wearing? Her pulse jumped. I found something. What something? A dress. What color? Beige. The lie came easier this time. He relaxed. Good. Simple. That's good. He walked past her to the kitchen. I need you to understand something. Monday is important for my career. The CEO will be there. Investors. Board members. I can't have you looking. You know. She knew. Like myself. He turned. Looked at her like she'd said something in a foreign language. What? Nothing. She walked toward the stairs. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Naughty. She stopped. Didn't turn around. Wear something simple. Beige like you said. Stay near the back. Don't talk to anyone important. Just smile and look pretty. Can you do that? She gripped the banister. Her knuckles went white. Yes, she said. But in her car trunk, wrapped in tissue paper, was an emerald dress that said otherwise. Derek sat at his desk. The house was quiet. Nadia was asleep upstairs. He pulled out his phone, scrolled through his contacts, stopped at Lauren's name. His thumb hovered. Then he opened his desk drawer instead, pulled out the wooden box, the photo of Nadia in her white coat. He stared at it. When did he stop seeing her as beautiful? When did her skin become a problem instead of a promise? He remembered their wedding. Dakar. The heat. The music. Her in traditional cloth, gold and crimson. He'd never seen anything more stunning. His colleagues hadn't been there. His white friends from business school hadn't seen. It was just them, her family, the ocean, the sky. He'd meant every word of his vows. I will honor you. I will see you. I will love you as you are. He closed the box, shoved it back in the drawer. Tomorrow was the gala. He needed Nadia there. Needed her as proof he wasn't a sellout, wasn't ashamed of where he came from. But he also needed her quiet. Invisible. Not too black. Not too much. The contradiction didn't bother him anymore. He'd learned to live with it. His phone buzzed. Lauren. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, winky face. He typed back. You'll be there? Of course. Wouldn't miss it. He smiled. Deleted the thread. Locked his phone. Upstairs, Nadia lay awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about emerald silk and gold threading and the way her reflection had looked like a queen. Monday was coming, and she'd made her choice. Nadia woke to Derek standing over the bed. She jerked upright, heart slamming. Jesus. You scared me. He didn't apologize. He was already dressed. Navy suit, white shirt, no tie yet. His face was stone. We need to talk. Her stomach dropped. About what? Yesterday. Where you really were. She kept her face neutral. I told you. Running errands. For 6 hours. I went to multiple stores. Show me the receipts. The air left her lungs. What? You heard me. Show me what you bought. She stared at him. This man she'd married. This stranger wearing his face. I don't have to show you receipts, Derek. His jaw twitched. You're hiding something. I'm not. Then show me. She climbed out of bed. Walked to the closet. Pulled out the shopping bags from yesterday. The decoy bags, groceries she'd actually bought after leaving Aminata's. Brought them to him. He looked through them. Milk. Eggs. Bread. Apples. His face relaxed slightly. See, she said. Nothing. He set the bags down. Studied her face. You're acting different. I'm not. You are. You lied about your phone dying. It was charged when you got home. Her pulse spiked. She'd forgotten that detail. I plugged it in at the store, she said. The lie felt like glass in her throat. He stepped closer. What's going on with you? Nothing is going on. Are you seeing someone? The accusation was so absurd she almost laughed. Are you serious? Answer the question. No, Derek. I'm not seeing someone. I don't have time to see someone. I'm too busy making sure your life runs smoothly. He flinched. Good. Tomorrow is the gala, he said. Voice lower now. Controlled. I need to know you're going to act right. Act right. You know what I mean. Say it. Tell me exactly what you mean. His eyes narrowed. Don't do this. Don't make me the bad guy. I'm not making you anything. I'm asking you to say out loud what you want from me. Silence. The clock on the nightstand ticked. I want you to wear something appropriate, he finally said. I want you to smile. Be polite. Don't draw attention. Don't embarrass me in front of the CEO. How would I embarrass you? Nadia. By existing. By standing next to you. By having the wrong skin. The words shot out before she could stop them. His face went cold. That's not fair. Isn't it? I never said anything about your skin. You didn't have to. You say it every time you tell me to stay in the back. Every time you crop me out of photos. Every time you sleep with women who look nothing like me. He stepped back like she'd slapped him. I don't know what you're talking about. Lauren. His face drained. Yeah. I know about Lauren. I've known for months. You're not as careful as you think. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. It's not what you think. What is it then? She's my assistant. That's all. You're a liar. Nadia. Get out. This is my house. Then I'll get out. She grabbed her robe, walked toward the bathroom. He caught her arm. His grip was tight. Let go of me. We're not done talking. Yes, we are. She yanked her arm free. I've said everything I need to say. Now you can go call Lauren and tell her how your difficult wife is acting up again. She went into the bathroom, locked the door, stood there shaking. On the other side, silence. Then footsteps. Then the bedroom door slamming. Nadia sat on the edge of the tub, put her face in her hands. What was she doing? She'd never talked to him like that. Never pushed back. Never named the truth out loud. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff. Terrifying. Exhilarating. Her phone was on the bathroom counter. She picked it up. Texted Aminata. I almost told him about the dress. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, but you didn't? No. Good. Let it be a surprise. I'm scared. I know. Be scared anyway. Nadia set down the phone. Looked at herself in the mirror. Her face was bare. Her hair was wrapped in a scarf. Her eyes were red from crying she hadn't even realized she'd done. Tomorrow she'd walk into that gala in emerald and gold. Tomorrow she'd stop hiding. But today she had to survive Derek. Derek sat at his desk, staring at nothing. Lauren knocked. Came in without waiting. She wore a red sweater, tight jeans. Smiled like nothing was wrong. Hey. You okay? You seem tense. I'm fine. She closed the door. Walked around his desk. Put her hands on his shoulders. Started massaging. Your wife giving you trouble? He didn't answer. You know you don't have to stay with her, right? You could leave. Start fresh. He thought about it. He'd thought about it 100 times. But leaving Nadia meant admitting failure. Meant proving everyone right who said he'd married her to prove a point. Meant losing the optics of being a black man married to an African woman. It's complicated, he said. It doesn't have to be. Lauren's hands moved to his chest. You deserve someone who makes you happy. And that's you. She smiled. Could be. He stood. Moved away from her. This can't happen anymore. What? Us. Whatever this is. It's done. Her face fell. You're serious. The gala is tomorrow. The CEO is going to be there. I can't risk this getting out. So I'm a risk now? You know what I mean. She stared at him, then laughed. Sharp. Bitter. You're pathetic. You know that. Excuse me. You're ashamed of your wife, ashamed of yourself, and now you're ashamed of me. You spend your whole life trying to be something you're not, and you wonder why you're miserable. Get out of my office. Gladly. She grabbed her bag, stopped at the door. For what it's worth, I've seen pictures of your wife. From before you broke her. She was stunning. Way out of your league. And you threw her away because white people made you feel small. She opened the door. I hope tomorrow destroys you. She left. Derek sat down, put his head in his hands. His phone buzzed. Text from Garrett. All set for tomorrow? CEO's excited to meet your wife. Says she wants to talk to her about the company's diversity initiatives. Derek's blood went cold. The CEO wanted to talk to Nadia. Actually, talk to her. That meant Nadia couldn't just stand in the back and smile. She'd have to engage. Speak. Represent him. What if she said something wrong? What if she embarrassed him? What if she told the truth? He typed back, all set. Looking forward to it. Another lie. He was drowning in them. Nadia sat in the back room. The emerald dress spread across her lap. She ran her fingers over the gold threading. Aminata was on the phone with a client. Nadia could hear her voice from the front. Warm and professional. The door chimed. Footsteps. I'll call you back, Aminata said. Then silence. Nadia stood. Walked to the doorway. Derek was in the boutique. Standing in the middle of the floor, looking around like he'd walked into enemy territory. Aminata's face was ice. Can I help you? I'm looking for my wife. She's not here. Her car is outside. Then maybe she went somewhere else. Derek's eyes moved past her. Found Nadia standing in the doorway. There you are, he said. Not relieved. Angry. I've been calling you all day. Nadia's phone was on silent in her purse. I didn't hear it. What are you doing here? Visiting my cousin. Is that allowed? His jaw tightened. He looked at Aminata. Can you give us a minute? No, Aminata said. This is my store. If Nadia wants you gone, you're gone. Derek ignored her. Focused on Nadia. We need to talk. Now. Nadia didn't move. About what? About tomorrow. About the CEO wanting to talk to you. About you being ready. I'm ready. Are you? He stepped closer. Because this morning you were acting insane. Accusing me of things. Starting fights. That can't happen tomorrow. You understand me. Aminata stepped between them. You need to leave. Derek looked at her like she was furniture. Stay out of this. Make me. The air went sharp. Nadia moved forward. Derek. Go home. I'll be there soon. Not until you tell me what's going on. Nothing is going on. You're lying. So are you. Guess we're even. His face went red. You want to do this here? In front of her. There's nothing to do. You came here looking for a fight. I'm not giving you one. She kept her voice level. Calm. It made him crazier. Tomorrow night, you wear beige. You stay quiet. You smile. That's it. Are we clear? Nadia looked at him. Really looked. At the man who used to trace her skin like art. The man who now couldn't stand to touch her. Crystal, she said. He stared at her. Waiting for her to break. To apologize. To fold. She didn't. Finally, he turned. Walked out. The door chimed. His car pulled away. Aminata locked the door. Turned to Nadia. You okay? Nadia's hands were shaking. No. But you didn't tell him. No. Good. Aminata pulled her into a hug. Tomorrow you burn his whole world down. They didn't speak at dinner. Nadia made salmon and asparagus. Derek ate in silence, scrolled through his phone. Afterward, he went to his office, closed the door. Nadia cleaned the kitchen, loaded the dishwasher, wiped down the counters. Then she went upstairs, took a shower, let the water run hot until the bathroom filled with steam. She thought about tomorrow, the plaza, the ballroom, walking in wearing emerald while Derek expected beige. Her stomach twisted with fear. But underneath the fear was something else. Rage. She'd swallowed it for years. Buried it. Let it eat her from the inside. Tomorrow she'd let it out. She got out of the shower. Dried off. Put on pajamas. Her phone buzzed. Text from Aminata. I'll meet you at the plaza at 6. We'll get you ready in the hotel. Don't let him see the dress. Nadia typed back. Okay. You sure you want to do this? Nadia stared at the question. Her finger hovered. Then she typed. Yes. That's my girl. See you tomorrow. Wear your crown. Nadia set down the phone. Looked at herself in the mirror. Tomorrow she'd stop apologizing. Tomorrow she'd choose herself. Tomorrow, Derek would see exactly what he'd lost. Derek couldn't sleep. He sat at his desk, tie loose, shirt unbuttoned. His laptop was open to the company website. Photos from last year's gala. Him shaking hands with the CEO. Him laughing with investors. Him looking successful. Important. Worthy. In none of the photos was Nadia. He'd made sure of that. He opened his phone. Scrolled to Lauren's contact. His thumb hovered over the delete button. Then he opened his desk drawer. Pulled out the wooden box. The photo of Nadia in her white coat. He stared at it until his eyes blurred. I'm sorry, he whispered to the photo. But he didn't know if he meant it. And even if he did, it was too late. The drive to New York was silent. Derek drove. Nadia sat in the passenger seat, staring out the window. Boston disappeared behind them. Connecticut blurred past. Then the skyline rose. Glass and steel and money. They'd left at noon. Derek insisted they drive together. It looks better, he'd said. What he meant was, I need to control you. Nadia's suitcase was in the trunk. Inside was the beige dress Derek expected. The emerald dress was already at the plaza, delivered by Aminata this morning. We're staying at the hotel tonight, Derek said. First words in 2 hours. I booked a suite. The gala starts at 7. We need to be downstairs by 6:45. Okay. Garrett and his fiancée will meet us at the entrance. The CEO will be there by 7:30. You'll meet her then. Nadia's stomach tightened. What does she want to talk about? Diversity initiatives. She wants to feature you in the company newsletter. Talk about your background, your experience as an immigrant, that kind of thing. I'm not an immigrant. I'm a naturalized citizen. Same thing. It's not. He sighed. Don't be difficult. Just smile and tell her whatever she wants to hear. Talk about how supportive I've been of your transition to America. How I helped you adjust. Nadia bit her tongue. He hadn't helped her adjust. He'd erased her. What if she asks about my career? Nadia said. About why I'm not practicing medicine. Derek's hands tightened on the wheel. Tell her you chose to focus on family. That's a lie. It's diplomacy. It's a lie. Nadia. His voice went hard. Tomorrow my career could change. This CEO is deciding on promotions in January. Partner track. If I get it, we're talking a significant raise. Stock options. Real money. But I need tonight to go perfectly. I need you to help me. Can you do that? She looked at him. At the desperation barely hidden under his control. I'll do my best, she said. He relaxed. Thank you. They pulled up to the plaza. Valets in burgundy, wait, can't use that word. Valets in dark red uniforms opened their doors. Derek handed over the keys, tipped generously, smiled like he owned the place. Nadia stepped onto the sidewalk. The hotel loomed above her, gold and white and dripping with old money. People moved through revolving doors wearing fur coats and diamond earrings. She felt small again. Gray. Invisible. Then her phone buzzed. Text from Aminata. Room 847. I'm here. Come up when you can. Nadia deleted the text. The suite had 2 bedrooms, a living room with cream-colored furniture, windows that looked out over Central Park. Derek immediately went to the bathroom, started getting ready. Nadia stood in the living room, suitcase at her feet. I'm going to get ready, she called out. Use the other bedroom, Derek said through the door. I need space. She grabbed her suitcase, went to the second bedroom, closed the door. Then she texted Aminata. I'm here. He's getting ready. How do I get to you? Tell him you need something from the lobby. I'll meet you at the elevators on 8. Nadia stared at the text. Her heart was racing. She could still back out. Wear the beige dress. Play it safe. Be what Derek needed. Or she could choose herself. She opened her suitcase. The beige dress lay on top, folded carefully. She touched it. Then she left it there. She walked to Derek's room. Knocked. What? I need to go to the lobby. I forgot something. Pause. What did you forget? Earrings. I left them in the car. We don't have time. It'll take 5 minutes. He opened the door. He was half-dressed, pants on, white shirt unbuttoned. His face was tight with stress. Make it quick. We need to leave in an hour. I will. She walked out before he could ask more questions. Aminata was waiting by the elevators. She wore a black jumpsuit, gold jewelry, her braids pulled into a high twist. When she saw Nadia, she grinned. Ready to become a weapon? Nadia's hand shook. I don't know. Come on. Aminata grabbed her hand, pulled her down the hallway to room 847. Inside, the hotel room looked like a beauty salon. Makeup spread across the desk. Curling tools plugged in. The emerald dress hanging on the bathroom door, gleaming under the lights. We have 1 hour, Aminata said. Sit. Nadia sat in the desk chair. Aminata stood behind her, met her eyes in the mirror. Last chance to back out. Nadia stared at her reflection. At the woman who'd spent 3 years making herself smaller. Quieter. Less. I'm not backing out. Even if he loses his mind. Especially if he loses his mind. Aminata smiled. That's what I wanted to hear. Aminata worked fast. She started with Nadia's hair. Took out the tight bun. Wait, can't use that word. Took down the tight pins and slicked edges. Combed through Nadia's natural curls with oil until they softened, expanded. Framed her face like a crown. When's the last time you wore your hair like this? Aminata asked. Years. Derek hated it. Derek's an idiot. Aminata sectioned the curls, pinned some back, let others fall. Then she wove in the gold accessories. Delicate pins shaped like leaves, a thin band that wrapped around Nadia's temples like royalty. Nadia watched in the mirror. With each touch, she looked less like Derek's wife and more like herself. Next, makeup. Aminata worked with precision. Gold eyeshadow that made Nadia's brown eyes look like they held light. Eyeliner that sharpened her gaze. Highlighter on her cheekbones, her cupid's bow, the bridge of her nose. Your skin doesn't need fixing, Aminata said as she blended. It needs honoring. When she finished, Nadia's face glowed. Rich. Deep. Unapologetic. Now the dress. Nadia stood. Stripped down to her underwear. Aminata held up the emerald gown. Step in. Nadia stepped into the silk. Aminata pulled it up, zipped the back. The dress settled onto Nadia's body like it had been waiting for her. The mirror showed a different woman. Curves that didn't apologize. Skin that caught light like polished stone. Hair that crowned instead of hid. Eyes that dared instead of begged. Oh my God, Nadia whispered. You see it. I see it. Aminata handed her shoes. Gold heels, simple, elegant. Nadia slipped them on. She stood, turned. The dress moved with her, the skirt flowing, the gold threading catching every angle of light. She looked powerful, dangerous, free. He's going to die when he sees you, Aminata said. Good. A knock at the door made them both freeze. Nadia's heart stopped. Who is that? Aminata checked the peephole. Relaxed. It's just hotel staff. Towels. But the knock reminded Nadia of Derek, of the suite downstairs, of the fact that in 15 minutes, she was supposed to meet him at the elevator wearing beige. I need to go, she said. Not yet. One more thing. Aminata went to her bag, pulled out a small box, opened it. Inside was a necklace. Gold, delicate, with a small pendant shaped like the sun. This was Grandma's, Aminata said. She wore it when she wanted to remind herself she was descended from queens. Nadia's eyes filled. I can't take this. You're not taking it. I'm giving it to you. Because tonight, you're going to need to remember who you are. Aminata fastened the necklace around Nadia's throat. The pendant settled right above her heart. Nadia touched it. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just walk in there and take back everything he stole. Derek was dressed. Black suit, white shirt, emerald green tie. He checked his watch, checked his phone, checked his reflection. Where was Nadia? He texted her, Where are you? We need to leave in 7 minutes. No response. He called. It rang. Voicemail. Panic started to creep in. What if she left? What if she wasn't coming? He couldn't show up without her. Not when the CEO wanted to meet her. Not when he'd built his whole image around being a family man. He texted again. Nadia. Answer me. The suite door opened. She walked in. Derek turned. Opened his mouth to yell. Then saw her. The words died in his throat. She stood in the doorway wearing emerald and gold. Her hair was loose, wild, crowned. Her skin glowed like she'd swallowed the sun. The dress hugged her body, celebrated it, turned her into something untouchable. She was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. And she was looking at him like he was nothing. What are you wearing? His voice came out strangled. A dress. That's not beige. No. It's not. I told you to wear beige. I changed my mind. He stepped toward her. Change back. No. Nadia, this isn't a game. The CEO will see me exactly as I am. She walked past him to the mirror. Adjusted her necklace. Her hands were steady. I'm done hiding. You look ridiculous. She turned. Met his eyes. I look free. His face went red. If you walk out there like that, you will embarrass me. You will ruin everything. Is that what you want? What I want is to stop pretending I'm something I'm not. You're my wife. You represent me. I represent myself. Nadia. We're late, she said. Grabbed her small gold purse. Walked to the door. Are you coming or not? He stood frozen, trapped between rage and panic and something else he couldn't name. She looked like the girl in the yellow dress. The one who smiled in Dakar. The one he'd loved before he'd learned to hate himself. Come on, she said. You said we can't be late. She walked out. He had no choice but to follow. The ballroom was on the 2nd floor. Crystal chandeliers. White marble floors. Round tables draped in ivory cloth. A string quartet played near the entrance. Waiters in white jackets carried trays of champagne. 200 guests milled around. Men in black suits. Women in cocktail dresses. Diamonds everywhere. The air smelled like expensive perfume and power. Derek and Nadia stood at the entrance. Garrett spotted them, walked over with his fiancée Kelsey. Blonde, thin, nervous smile. Derek. There you are. Garrett shook his hand. Then turned to Nadia. His eyes widened slightly. And you must be Nadia. Wah. That dress is stunning. Thank you, Nadia said. Her voice was calm. Strong. Kelsey smiled. Seriously, you look amazing. Where did you get that? My cousin made it. She's talented. Derek stood rigid beside her. His jaw was clenched so tight Nadia could hear his teeth grinding. Shall we grab a drink? Garrett said, oblivious to the tension. They walked into the ballroom. Heads turned. Not toward Derek. Toward Nadia. Conversations paused. Eyes followed her. Women whispered to each other. Men straightened. The emerald dress moved like water. The gold caught the chandelier light. Nadia's skin gleamed. Her hair was a crown. She was a storm walking into a room full of candles. Derek felt it. Felt the shift. Felt the room's attention move from him to her. His hand found her elbow. Grip tight. Smile, he hissed in her ear. She pulled away. I am smiling. They reached the bar. Derek ordered scotch. Nadia ordered water. A woman approached. Late 50s. White. Sharp gray suit. Warm eyes. You must be Nadia, she said. Extended her hand. I'm Catherine Wells, CEO. Nadia shook her hand. It's wonderful to meet you. Derek's told me so much about you. Catherine's eyes moved over Nadia's dress, though he failed to mention how stunning you are. Derek's face twitched. He forced a smile. I'm a lucky man. Indeed. Catherine turned to Nadia. I'd love to talk to you later. I'm very interested in your background. Derek mentioned you're from Senegal. Yes. I was a physician there before moving to the States. A physician? That's incredible. Are you still practicing? Nadia felt Derek's eyes on her. Felt the warning. She met Catherine's gaze. No. Not currently. Why not? The question hung in the air. Nadia could lie. Could say what Derek wanted. Could protect him. Or she could tell the truth. She glanced at Derek. Saw the desperation in his eyes. The silent plea. Then she looked back at Catherine. It's complicated, she said. But I'm working on getting back into it. Derek's hand tightened around his glass. Catherine smiled. Good. The world needs more women like you in medicine. Let's definitely talk more tonight. She walked away. Derek leaned close. What are you doing? Answering her questions. You're going off script. There is no script. Nadia. A voice called out. Derek. They turned. More colleagues. More introductions. More eyes on Nadia. Each person who approached commented on her dress. Her presence. Her beauty. Derek stood beside her, smiling, shaking hands, dying inside. Because the room wasn't looking at him anymore. They were looking at her. And she was glowing. The ballroom filled. Dinner was announced. People moved to their tables. Derek and Nadia were seated at table 4, close to the front. Next to Garrett, Kelsey, Catherine, and 2 board members. Derek pulled out Nadia's chair. She sat. He sat beside her. Under the table, his hand found her knee. Squeezed. Hard. She moved her leg away. Catherine sat across from them. She smiled at Nadia. So tell me, how did you and Derek meet? Derek opened his mouth. Nadia spoke first. He was a Peace Corps volunteer in Senegal, she said. I was working at a clinic in Dakar. He came in with malaria. I treated him. He asked me out 3 times before I said yes. Catherine laughed. Persistent. Very. Nadia smiled. It was genuine. She was remembering the Derek who used to exist. We got married a year later. Small ceremony. Just family. And you moved here for him? Yes. That must have been difficult. It was. Nadia's voice softened. I gave up a lot. My career. My family. My country. But I believed in him. In us. Derek's face went pale. Catherine leaned forward. And now? Are you happy? The table went quiet. Everyone waited. Nadia looked at Derek. Held his gaze. I'm learning to be, she said. Dinner was served. Seared salmon with roasted vegetables. Derek pushed food around his plate, barely eating. Nadia ate slowly, deliberately, aware of every eye that kept drifting to her. Catherine was talking about the company's expansion into West Africa. Tech infrastructure. Educational programs. Mobile banking solutions. We're looking to partner with local organizations, Catherine said. People who understand the region. The culture. She looked at Nadia. Do you still have connections in Senegal? Some. My family is still there. Your family must miss you. They do. And I miss them. When's the last time you visited? Nadia's throat tightened. 5 years ago. For my father's funeral. Catherine's face softened. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Nadia took a sip of water. He was a surgeon. One of the best in Dakar. He's the reason I went into medicine. Derek's fork scraped against his plate. The sound was sharp. Catherine didn't notice. What was your specialty? Infectious disease. Malaria specifically. I did research on treatment protocols for children under 5. Published a few papers. One of the board members, Harold, late 60s, white, kind eyes, leaned forward. I'd love to read your work. Do you have links? I can send them to you. Please do. We're always looking for experts to consult on our African initiatives. Derek's hand found Nadia's thigh under the table. Squeezed. A warning. She ignored him. I'd be happy to help however I can, she said. Catherine smiled. Wonderful. Let's exchange information after dinner. The conversation shifted. The board members talked about quarterly earnings. Garrett mentioned a new client. Derek joined in, his voice tight, controlled. Nadia excused herself. Ladies' room. She stood. Walked across the ballroom. Felt eyes follow her. Felt the weight of the emerald dress, the gold in her hair, the freedom of not hiding. In the bathroom she stood at the sink. Stared at her reflection. The woman looking back was a stranger. No, not a stranger. The woman she used to be. Before Derek taught her to disappear. The door opened. A young woman walked in. Early 20s. Black. Natural hair in an afro. She stopped when she saw Nadia. Oh my God. That dress. Nadia smiled. Thank you. No, seriously. You look like royalty. I saw you walk in and I just... She shook her head. You're glowing. I appreciate that. The young woman washed her hands, then hesitated. Can I ask you something? Of course. How do you do it? Walk into a room like that and just... own it? I always feel like I have to make myself smaller. Especially in spaces like this. Nadia's chest ached. She saw herself in this girl. The version of herself from 3 years ago. I felt the same way for a long time, Nadia said. I spent years making myself smaller, quieter, trying to fit into spaces that were never designed for me. And it almost destroyed me. So what changed? I got tired. Tired of shrinking. Tired of apologizing for existing. Nadia turned to face her. One day I realized that the people who needed me small were the people who feared me whole. And I stopped letting their fear dictate my size. The young woman's eyes filled. Thank you. I needed to hear that. What's your name? Jasmine. Jasmine, you are enough exactly as you are. Don't ever forget that. Jasmine nodded. Wiped her eyes. Smiled. I won't. She left. Nadia stood alone. Touched her grandmother's necklace. Felt the sun pendant warm against her skin. When she walked back into the ballroom, she saw Derek standing near their table, talking to a man she didn't recognize. Then she saw the man's face. And her heart stopped. Julian. Dr. Julian Foster. Julian looked the same. Late 30s. Dark skin. British accent she could hear even from across the room. He wore a navy suit, square glasses, easy smile. She'd met him once. 3 years ago. At a medical conference in Philadelphia. They talked for hours about malaria research, about treatment gaps, about her dream of opening clinics in rural Senegal. He'd offered her a position, research fellow at Johns Hopkins. It would have been her way back into medicine. She'd gone home and told Derek. Derek had said no. Said it was too far. Too demanding. Said she needed to focus on their marriage, on being present. What he meant was, I need you invisible. She'd turned down the position. She hadn't seen Julian since. Now he was here, talking to her husband. Nadia walked over. Her heels clicked on marble. Julian saw her first. His face lit up. Dr. Osei. Derek turned. His face went tight. Julian, Nadia said. Extended her hand. What a surprise. He shook it. His grip was warm. I almost didn't recognize you. You look incredible. Thank you. What are you doing here? I'm giving a keynote tomorrow. Public health infrastructure in developing nations. Catherine invited me. He gestured to Derek. I just met your husband. Small world. Derek's smile was plastic. Julian was telling me about his work at Johns Hopkins. Still there? Nadia asked. Still there. Actually, I've been thinking about you recently. We published a new protocol on pediatric malaria treatment, built on some of your research from 2019. Nadia's breath caught. You cited my work? Of course. It was groundbreaking. Are you still in the field? Silence. Derek's hand moved to Nadia's lower back. Possessive. She's been taking time off, Derek said, focusing on other priorities. Julian looked at Nadia. Is that true? Nadia met his eyes. It's complicated. I'd love to hear about it. Do you have time to talk? Maybe grab coffee tomorrow before my keynote. She's busy tomorrow, Derek said. Voice hard. We're heading back to Boston early. Actually, Nadia said. I'd love to. What time? Derek's fingers dug into her back. Julian smiled. 9. There's a cafe across the street. I'll be there. Perfect. Julian checked his watch. I should get back to my table. But it was wonderful seeing you, Dr. Osei. Really wonderful. He walked away. Derek leaned close. His breath was hot against her ear. What do you think you're doing? Having a conversation. With him. He's a colleague. He's interested in you. He's interested in my work. Same thing. Nadia turned to face him. You're paranoid. I'm observant. I saw the way he looked at you. The way he looked at me was with respect. You should try it sometime. His eyes went cold. We're leaving. The event isn't over. I don't care. We're leaving. Now. No. Excuse me. I said no. I'm staying. If you want to leave, leave. People were starting to stare. Derek noticed. He forced a smile. Dropped his voice. You're making a scene. I'm standing here. You're the one making a scene. Catherine appeared beside them. Everything all right? Fine, Derek said. Smile back in place. Just fine. Catherine looked at Nadia. I wanted to introduce you to someone. Dr. Patricia Monroe. She runs our Global Health Initiative. I think you two would have a lot to talk about. Nadia smiled. I'd love that. Wonderful. Come with me. Nadia followed Catherine. Left Derek standing alone. Dr. Patricia Monroe was in her 50s. Nigerian American. Sharp, warm, commanded attention without demanding it. She and Nadia talked for 20 minutes about healthcare infrastructure, about corruption, about brain drain, about what it took to build sustainable systems in countries stripped bare by colonialism. We need people like you, Patricia said. People who understand the region. Who have clinical experience. Who can navigate both worlds. I'd love to help, Nadia said. But I'm not currently practicing. Why not? The question again. Direct. Unavoidable. Nadia glanced across the room. Derek was watching her. His face was stone. She looked back at Patricia. I gave it up when I moved to the States. My husband's career took priority. Patricia's expression didn't change, but something in her eyes shifted. Understanding. Disappointment. Solidarity. I see, she said quietly. And is that what you wanted? No one had ever asked her that. Nadia's throat tightened. No. Then why did you do it? Because I loved him. Because I thought supporting him was the same as loving myself. Because I didn't know I was allowed to want both. Patricia nodded. I made the same mistake once. Gave up a fellowship in London for a man who said he needed me. Spent 5 years making myself smaller so he could feel bigger. By the time I left, I didn't recognize myself. What made you leave? I woke up one day and realized I was grieving my own life. Mourning a future I'd buried alive. Patricia met Nadia's eyes. You're not buried yet. You're still here. Still breathing. Still able to choose. Nadia felt something crack open in her chest. Here's my card, Patricia said, handing it over. Call me if you ever want to talk. About work. About life. About reclaiming what you lost. Thank you. Patricia smiled. That dress, by the way. It's perfect. Don't ever let anyone dim that light. She walked away. Nadia stood holding the card, staring at it. Dr. Patricia Monroe, Director, Global Health Initiatives. A door. A way back. The ballroom had thinned. Some guests left for the after-party in the penthouse lounge. Others gathered in small circles, drinks in hand, laughter rising. Nadia found Derek near the bar. He was on his third scotch, maybe fourth. His tie was loose. His eyes were glassy. Ready to go? She asked. He looked at her like she was a stranger. You humiliated me tonight. I talked to people. That's what you wanted. You talked to him. That doctor. You gave him your number. I didn't give him my number. We're meeting for coffee. Same thing. It's not. You're cheating on me. The accusation was so absurd she laughed. Are you serious? I saw the way you looked at him. I looked at him like a colleague. Like someone who respects my work. Something you stopped doing years ago. I respect you. You tolerate me. There's a difference. He stepped closer. She could smell the scotch on his breath. Everything I've done has been for us. For our future. I built a career so we could have a good life. You built a career and left me behind. I asked you to come with me. No. You asked me to disappear. To be quiet. To take up less space. To stop being African. To stop being myself. Her voice rose. You asked me to hate my own skin so you could feel comfortable in yours. He flinched. That's not fair. Isn't it? Nadia stepped closer. When did you stop touching me, Derek? When did you stop looking at me? When did I become something you were ashamed of? I'm not ashamed of you. Then why do you hide me? Why do you crop me out of photos? Why do you tell people I'm too shy to attend events when the truth is you don't want them to see me? That's not true. Then explain, Lauren. His face went white. Explain the affair you've been having for 6 months. Explain why she looks nothing like me. Explain why you need me invisible but you need her visible. Nadia. You fell in love with my skin in Senegal. But the moment you got around white people who made you feel small, you started seeing me the way they did. And instead of fighting their racism, you joined it. You made me the enemy. Tears ran down her face. She didn't wipe them. Derek's eyes were wet too. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. Every day. For 3 years. You hurt me. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry people saw me tonight? Sorry I didn't stay small. He didn't answer. Nadia took off her wedding ring. Held it in her palm. I'm done, she said. What? I'm done shrinking. I'm done apologizing. I'm done being your proof that you're not a sellout while you treat me like a burden. Nadia, wait. I loved you. I gave up everything for you. My career, my country, my family, myself, and you threw it away because white approval mattered more. She set the ring on the bar. I'm staying in New York tomorrow. Meeting Julian for coffee. Maybe talking to Patricia about work. Maybe remembering who I was before you convinced me I was too much. You're my wife. Not anymore. She turned. Walked toward the exit. Derek grabbed her arm. Where are you going? She pulled free. Anywhere but here. Nadia walked through the lobby in her emerald dress. People stared. She didn't care. She pulled out her phone. Called Aminata. How'd it go? I left him. Silence. Then, for real. For real. Oh baby. Are you okay? I don't know. But I'm free. Where are you? The lobby. I can't go back to the suite. Stay there. I'm coming. Nadia sat on a velvet bench. Held her grandmother's necklace. Let herself cry. A voice interrupted. Dr. Osei. She looked up. Julian stood there. Concerned. Are you all right? She wiped her eyes. Not really. Can I do anything? No. But thank you. He sat beside her. Didn't speak. Just sat there. Present. After a minute, he said, the offer still stands. Hopkins. Research position. If you're interested. Nadia looked at him. Why? Because you're brilliant. Because the field needs you. Because you deserve to use your gifts. Her chest ached. I'm a mess right now. Messes can be cleaned up. Talent like yours is rare. Aminata appeared in the lobby. Saw Nadia. Rushed over. Baby, you okay? Nadia stood. I will be. Julian stood too. I'll leave you. But think about the offer. And I'll see you at 9 tomorrow. If you still want to talk. I do. He nodded. Left. Aminata pulled Nadia into a hug. Let's get you out of here. Nadia sat on the hotel bed in a robe. Aminata made tea. They sat in silence. Finally, Aminata spoke. What happened? Nadia told her everything. The dinner. The conversations. Julian. Patricia. The ring. I can't believe I did that, Nadia whispered. I can. You were always strong. You just forgot for a while. What do I do now? Whatever you want. That's the point. Nadia's phone buzzed. Text from Derek. Please come back. We need to talk. She deleted it. Another text. I love you. I'm sorry. Please. She blocked his number. Aminata watched. You sure? Nadia nodded. I'm sure. The cafe smelled like espresso and fresh pastries. Large windows looked out onto 83rd Street. Morning light poured in, caught the dust particles floating in the air. Nadia sat at a corner table. She wore jeans and a cream sweater, her hair still in the curls from last night, the gold accessories removed. She'd slept in Aminata's room, barely slept at all really, and woke up feeling like she'd survived a car crash. Her phone had 17 missed calls from Derek. She'd turned it off at 6 a.m. Julian walked in at 9:15. He saw her, smiled, ordered at the counter, then joined her with 2 coffees. Wasn't sure how you took it, so I got cream and sugar on the side. Black is fine. Thank you. He sat. Studied her face. Rough night. You could say that. Want to talk about it? Not really. Fair enough. He took a sip of his coffee. Then let's talk about malaria. Despite everything, Nadia smiled. That's your pivot? Malaria. It's a solid topic. Less emotionally fraught than whatever happened after I left last night. She laughed. It felt strange. Like using a muscle that had atrophied. Okay. Tell me about the new protocol. Julian pulled out his tablet. Showed her research. Charts. Data. Recovery rates in children under 5 had improved by 37% using a modified treatment schedule based on her 2019 findings. This is your work, he said. Your research saved lives. Is saving lives. Present tense. Nadia stared at the numbers. At proof that her work mattered. That she mattered. I didn't think anyone remembered that paper, she said quietly. Are you kidding? It's cited in half the malaria research published in the last 3 years. You're a legend in the field. I'm not a legend. I'm a woman who gave up her career to support her husband's. Julian set down the tablet. Can I say something that might be out of line? Go ahead. Your husband's an idiot. Nadia blinked. Then laughed. Really laughed. The kind that came from the stomach, that hurt, that felt like medicine. I'm serious, Julian said, smiling now. I watched him last night. Watched how he touched you. Like he owned you. Like you were an accessory he was embarrassed to wear. And I thought, this man has a brilliant wife who gave up everything for him, and he treats her like a burden. That's not love. That's colonization. The word landed hard. Nadia's laughter died. That's exactly what it was. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. No. You're right. He colonized me. Took everything valuable, extracted it, left me empty, then blamed me for being empty. Julian reached across the table. Stopped just before touching her hand. May I? She nodded. He took her hand. His palm was warm. Steady. You're not empty, he said. You're dormant. There's a difference. Dormant things can grow again. Her eyes filled. I don't know if I remember how. Then let me help you remember. They talked for 2 hours. About medicine. About Senegal. About her father, the surgeon who taught her that healing was holy work. About Julian's childhood in Lagos, his medical training in London, his decision to focus on public health instead of private practice. Money's good in private, he said. But it's empty. I wanted to do work that mattered. Do you ever regret it? Never. Do you regret giving up medicine? Every single day. Then come back. It's not that simple. Why not? I've been out for 3 years. My credentials need updating. I'd have to retake exams. Find a program that would take me. I'm 35. Julian. Most residents are in their 20s. So what? You think age erases brilliance? He leaned forward. Hopkins has a re-entry program for physicians who took time off. It's competitive, but with your background, your research, your publications, you'd be a strong candidate. I could write a recommendation. So could Patricia. You met her last night, right? Nadia nodded. Pulled out Patricia's card from her purse. Call her, Julian said. Today. Tell her you're interested. I guarantee she'll help you. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Helping me. You barely know me. He smiled. I know your work. I know you're brilliant. And I know what it looks like when someone's light has been dimmed by someone else's insecurity. I watched my mother go through it. Spent 20 years making herself small for my father. By the time she left him, she'd forgotten she had her own dreams. He paused. She never got them back. She died before she could. I don't want that for you. Nadia's throat closed. I'm sorry about your mother. Me too. But her story doesn't have to be yours. They left the cafe. Walked through Central Park. The trees were bare, skeletal against the December sky. Frost clung to the grass. Joggers passed. A man played saxophone near Bethesda Fountain. Tell me about Dakar, Julian said. What do you miss most? The light. It's different there. Warmer. Fuller. Like it's alive. What else? The ocean. My grandmother's cooking. The way people gather. Music in the streets. Dancing at weddings that last 3 days. Feeling like I belonged. You don't feel like you belong here? I feel like I'm performing here. Trying to fit into a space that was never designed for me. Then design your own space. She looked at him. Is it really that simple? No. It's hard as hell. But it's possible. They walked in silence for a while. Then Julian spoke again. Can I tell you something embarrassing? Please. When I met you 3 years ago, I thought you were the most impressive person I'd ever met. Brilliant. Passionate. Uncompromising. I went back to my hotel that night and told my colleague, I just met a woman who's going to change the field. He smiled. Then you disappeared. I looked for your name in journals. Nothing. I asked around. No one knew where you'd gone. I thought maybe you'd moved back to Senegal. Started a private practice. Something that matched your talent. I was at home, Nadia said quietly. Making myself small. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm the one who chose it. Did you? Or did he choose it for you? The question sat between them. Both, Nadia said. I chose to love him. He chose to break me. I chose to let him. And now I'm choosing myself. Julian stopped walking, turned to face her. Good. Because the world needs you whole. They grabbed lunch at a small Ethiopian restaurant in Harlem. The smell of berbera and injera made Nadia homesick for Dakar, for her grandmother's kitchen, for flavors that tasted like memory. This was my mother's favorite cuisine, Julian said. She said it reminded her of home. Where was home? Lagos. She moved to London when she was 20. Met my father. Married him. Spent the next 30 years trying to be British enough. Trying to make him happy. He was never happy. What happened to him? He's still in London. Alone. Bitter. We don't speak. Do you regret that? Not even a little. Some people are poison. Doesn't matter if they're blood. Nadia picked at her food. Derek texted me 17 times last night. Did you respond? No. I blocked him this morning. Good. Is it? We've been married 9 years. Shouldn't I at least hear him out? Julian set down his fork. Let me ask you something. If he apologizes, what does he actually apologize for? For hurting you? Or for getting caught? For making you small? Or for you finally refusing to shrink? Nadia didn't answer. He had 3 years to apologize, Julian continued. 3 years to see what he was doing to you. He didn't. The only reason he's sorry now is because you left. Because you took back your power. That's not remorse. That's damage control. You sound very sure about this. I watched my mother take my father back 6 times. He apologized every time. Cried. Promised to change. Never did. She wasted years waiting for him to become the man he pretended to be when they met. Julian's voice softened. Don't waste your years, Nadia. They walked back toward the plaza. The sun was setting, painting the sky pink and orange. Nadia's phone was still off. She'd told Aminata she'd be back by 5. She had to face Derek eventually. Had to get her things from the suite. Had to figure out next steps. Thank you for today, she said. I needed this. Coffee and a lecture about not settling? Happy to provide any time. She smiled. It was more than that. You reminded me I'm more than his opinion of me. You always were. They stopped in front of the plaza. The hotel loomed above them, all gold and white and wealth. I should go, Nadia said. Face the music. Want me to come with you? No. This is something I need to do alone. Julian pulled out his phone. Give me your number. Not for anything weird. Just so I can send you information about Hopkins. And so you have someone to call if you need support. She gave him her number. He texted her immediately. You're brilliant. Don't forget. She read it. Smiled. Thank you, Julian. Don't thank me. Just promise you'll call Patricia. Today. I promise. He hesitated. Then pulled her into a hug. It was brief, warm, safe. When he pulled back, his eyes were kind. You deserve someone who celebrates you, he said. Not someone who tolerates you. Remember that. I will. He walked away. She watched him go. Then turned toward the hotel. Aminata was waiting in the lobby. She saw Nadia's face, stood up. How'd it go? Good. Really good. And I'm going to call Patricia. Look into Hopkins. Maybe get my life back. Aminata grinned. That's my girl. But first I have to talk to Derek. Want me to come? No. I need to do this alone. You sure? I'm sure. They hugged. Aminata whispered. You're stronger than you know. Nadia unlocked the door with the keycard. The suite was dark. Silent. Derek. No answer. She walked through the living room. Into the bedroom. He sat on the edge of the bed. Still in his suit from last night, wrinkled now. His face was pale. Eyes red. You came back, he said. Voice hoarse. To get my things. Nadia, please. We need to talk. We talked last night. I was drunk. I wasn't thinking clearly. You were honest. There's a difference. He stood. I'm sorry. For everything. For Lauren. For making you feel small. For not seeing what I was doing to you. Okay. Okay. I accept your apology. Hope flickered in his eyes. So you'll stay. We can work on this. No. The hope died. What? I accept your apology. But I'm still leaving. Nadia. You're sorry now because I left. Because people saw me last night. Because I stopped performing. But you weren't sorry 2 days ago. 2 months ago. 2 years ago. You were fine with hurting me as long as I stayed quiet. That's not true. Isn't it? When's the last time you told me I was beautiful? When's the last time you touched me like you loved me? When's the last time you saw me as something other than a burden? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Couldn't answer. You loved me when I made you feel good about yourself, Nadia said. When I was proof you weren't a sellout. But the moment your white colleagues made you feel small, you started seeing me the way they did. And instead of fighting them, you joined them. You made me the enemy. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. Every single day. And I let you because I thought loving you meant erasing myself. She walked to the closet. Started packing her clothes. Derek watched. Where will you go? Aminata's. Then Boston. Then I don't know. Maybe Baltimore. Maybe Senegal. Maybe somewhere I've never been. The point is, it's my choice now. What about us? There is no us. Not anymore. I love you. She stopped packing. Turned to face him. No, you don't. You love the idea of me. The Senegalese wife who makes you look cultured. The doctor who gave up her career to support you. The woman who made you feel like a good person. But you don't love me. Because if you loved me, you would have celebrated me. Not hidden me. Tears ran down his face. I can change. Maybe you can. But I'm not staying to find out. She zipped her suitcase. Grabbed her purse. Walked to the door. Nadia, please. She stopped. Didn't turn around. I hope you find peace, Derek. I really do. But I can't sacrifice myself to give it to you. She left. The door closed behind her. In the hallway, she leaned against the wall. Let out a breath she'd been holding for 3 years. Her phone buzzed. She'd turned it back on. Text from Patricia. Loved meeting you last night. Let's talk soon about opportunities. You have a gift. Don't waste it. Text from Julian. Checking in. You okay? Text from Aminata. Room 847 whenever you're ready. Wine and tissues waiting. She smiled. Wiped her eyes. Started walking. Aminata opened the door. Took one look at Nadia's face. Pulled her inside. They sat on the bed. Drank wine. Cried. Laughed. Cried again. How do you feel? Aminata asked. Scared. Free. Sad. Relieved. All of it. That sounds right. I loved him, Aminata. I really loved him. I know, baby. But love isn't supposed to cost you yourself. Nadia leaned her head on Aminata's shoulder. What do I do now? Whatever you want. That's the beautiful part. Nadia's phone buzzed. Another text from Julian. Hopkins application portal. Thought you might want it. No pressure. She clicked the link. Read through the requirements. The deadline was January 15th. 4 weeks away. I think I'm going to apply, she said. Aminata smiled. Yeah. Then let's do it. Right now. No waiting. They spent the next 3 hours working on the application. Aminata ordered room service. They ate pasta and drank more wine and filled out forms and gathered documents. At 9:47 p.m., Nadia hit submit. The confirmation page loaded. I did it, she whispered. You did it. They hugged. Nadia cried again. But this time the tears felt different. Like grief. Like birth. Like freedom. Nadia Zuber pulled up to the Beacon Hill townhouse. She'd been gone 2 days. It felt like 2 years. Aminata had wanted to come with her. Nadia said no. This was something she needed to do alone. Pack her things. Take what was hers. Leave the rest. The house looked the same. Red brick. Black shutters. Iron gate. Picture perfect. A museum she'd lived in but never owned. She used her key. Walked inside. The silence hit her first. Then the smell. Derek's cologne. Coffee. The lemon cleaner she used on counters every morning. Derek. No answer. His car wasn't in the driveway. He was probably at work. Good. She could pack in peace. Be gone before he got home. She went upstairs. Into their bedroom. Opened the closet. Her clothes hung in neat rows. Gray. Black. Beige. Navy. Colors designed to disappear. She touched a sleeve, then let her hand drop. She didn't want any of it. She grabbed a suitcase from the top shelf. Started packing the few things that mattered. Photos of her family. Her grandmother's journal. The medical textbooks she'd kept hidden under the bed. Her father's stethoscope. The front door opened downstairs. Her heart stopped. Footsteps. Heavy. Fast. Nadia. Derek. She stood frozen, suitcase half-packed on the bed. He appeared in the doorway. He looked terrible. Unshaven. Hair uncombed. Same clothes from yesterday. Eyes wild. You're here, he said. I didn't think you'd come back. I'm just getting my things. Your things. He laughed. Sharp. Bitter. Your things. Like this is a hotel. Like we didn't build a life here. You built a life here. I just existed in it. He walked into the room. She stepped back. Don't do that, he said. Don't act like I'm dangerous. You're not dangerous. You're desperate. That's worse. I love you. You keep saying that. I don't think you know what it means. He sat on the bed. Put his face in his hands. I lost the promotion. Nadia stopped packing. What? The CEO. Catherine. She called me into her office this morning. Said the board decided to go in a different direction. Said they had concerns about my judgment. My character. I'm sorry. No, you're not. I am. I never wanted you to fail, Derek. I just wanted you to see me. He looked up. His eyes were red. She asked about you. Catherine. Asked why you weren't at breakfast yesterday morning. Asked if everything was okay between us. I lied. Said you had a family emergency. Had to fly back to Boston. He laughed again. She didn't believe me. I could see it on her face. She knows I'm a fraud. You're not a fraud. You're just broken. There's a difference. I'm broken because of you. The words hit like a slap. Excuse me. He stood. You heard me. I was fine before you started acting out. Before you wore that dress. Before you humiliated me in front of everyone who matters. I humiliated you by existing. By refusing to hide. You humiliated me by disrespecting our marriage. By flirting with that doctor. By making me look like I can't control my own wife. Control. That's what this is about. Control. You're damn right it is. He stepped closer. I gave you everything. This house. This life. Security. Stability. And you threw it back in my face. You gave me a cage and called it a home. I gave you a chance to be someone. Without me, you'd still be in Senegal making pennies at some clinic. The cruelty in his voice was new. Raw. Unfiltered. Nadia stared at him. There it is. The truth you've been hiding for 3 years. You think you saved me. You think I owe you my life because you married me. Don't you? No. I saved you. I put you through business school. I worked 2 jobs while you built your company. I gave up my career, my country, my family so you could chase your dream. And the moment you got what you wanted, you decided I was the problem. Because you were. You are. His voice rose. Do you know what it's like walking into rooms full of white people with you on my arm? Watching them look at you, then look at me, trying to figure out why I'd marry someone so. Say it. Say what you really mean. So black. So African. So dark. The words exploded out of him. There. Are you happy? I said it. You're too dark for the life I need to live. Too dark for the circles I run in. Too dark for the image I'm trying to build. Silence. The words hung in the air like poison. Nadia felt something inside her shatter. Not her heart. That had broken already. Something deeper. The last fragile hope that maybe somewhere the man she'd married still existed. He didn't. Get out of my way, she said quietly. No. Derek. Move. Not until you listen to me. I've listened for 3 years. I'm done. She grabbed her suitcase. Tried to walk past him. He grabbed her arm. We're not finished. Let go of me. Not until you promise to fix this. To call Catherine. To apologize. To make this right. Apologize for what? For being myself. For ruining my life. She yanked her arm free. I didn't ruin your life. You did. The moment you decided white approval mattered more than your own humanity. She walked toward the door. He followed. If you leave, I'll make sure you regret it. She stopped. Turned. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you the truth. You think you can just walk away? Start over. You're 35. You haven't practiced medicine in 3 years. No hospital is going to take you. No program is going to want you. You'll end up exactly where you were when I found you. Struggling. Alone. Nobody. Each word was a knife. Is that what you tell yourself? Nadia said. That I was nobody before you. That you gave me value. I gave you a life. You took mine. She walked down the stairs. He followed. Nadia, stop. Just stop and think about what you're doing. I am thinking. For the first time in years, I'm thinking clearly. She reached the front door. Opened it. If you walk out that door, we're done, he said. I'll file for divorce. You'll get nothing. This house is in my name. The car is in my name. The bank accounts are in my name. You'll leave with nothing. She turned to face him one last time. I'm already leaving with nothing. You made sure of that years ago. Nadia. Goodbye, Derek. She walked out. Down the steps. To the Uber waiting at the curb. Derek stood in the doorway. Watching. His face twisted with rage. With pain. With something that might have been regret if he'd been capable of it. You'll come back, he shouted. You'll realize you need me and you'll come crawling back. Nadia got in the car. Closed the door. The Uber pulled away. She didn't look back. Nadia sat on Aminata's couch, shaking. The suitcase was on the floor. She'd barely made it inside before breaking down. Aminata held her. Didn't speak. Just held her while she cried. He said I was too dark, Nadia finally whispered. He actually said it. Out loud. Like it was my fault. Like my skin was the problem. He's a monster. He's hurt. He's broken. He's... Stop. Aminata pulled back, gripped Nadia's shoulders. Stop making excuses for him. Stop trying to understand him. Stop giving him grace he never gave you. But I loved him. I know. But love isn't supposed to destroy you. And he destroyed you. Systematically. Deliberately. He took a brilliant woman and convinced her she was worthless. That's not love. That's abuse. The word landed. Abuse. Nadia had never called it that. Never let herself think it. But hearing it out loud, she knew it was true. What do I do now? She whispered. You survive. Then you heal. Then you thrive. I don't know how. Yes, you do. You're already doing it. Nadia's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Then something told her to pick up. Hello. Dr. Osei. This is Patricia Monroe. From the Gala. Nadia's heart jumped. Dr. Monroe. Hi. I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time. I got your number from Julian. I hope that's okay. Of course. I wanted to follow up on our conversation. About opportunities. I spoke with our team at the foundation, and we have a research fellowship opening in January. 6 months, based in Baltimore, focused on malaria prevention in West Africa. The pay is competitive. The work is meaningful. And I think you'd be perfect for it. Nadia couldn't speak. Dr. Osei. Are you there? I'm here. I applied to Hopkins yesterday. For their re-entry program. I know. Julian told me. But this fellowship could run concurrent with that. Give you clinical experience while you're getting recertified. It's exactly the kind of thing that would strengthen your application. When would it start? January 6th. I know that's soon, but if you're interested, I can send you details today. You'd have a week to decide. Nadia looked at Aminata. Mouthed. Job offer. Aminata's eyes went wide. Yes, Nadia said. Yes, I'm interested. Please send the details. Wonderful. I'll email them within the hour. And Dr. Osei, I'm really glad you're considering this. The world needs your voice. They hung up. Nadia stared at her phone. Aminata screamed. Actually screamed. Jumped up and down. You're going to Baltimore. You're getting your life back. Nadia started laughing. Then crying. Then laughing again. Her phone buzzed. Text from Derek. I'm filing for divorce. You have 30 days to remove your belongings from the house. After that, anything left will be donated. She read it. Felt nothing. Then deleted it. Another text came through. This one from Julian. How'd it go with Derek? She typed back. It's over. Really over. But I think I'm going to be okay. 3 dots appeared. Then, you're going to be better than okay. You're going to be extraordinary. Aminata cooked dinner. Jollof rice. Fried plantains. Grilled chicken. The smells filled the apartment, made it feel like home. They ate on the couch. Watched a movie. Laughed at stupid jokes. Cried during the sad parts. Nadia's phone buzzed again. She ignored it. Then it rang. Derek's mother. She answered. Hello, Mrs. Winters. Nadia. Derek called me. Told me you left him. I did. He's devastated. I'm sorry to hear that. He loves you. You know that, right? Nadia took a breath. No. He doesn't. He loves the idea of me. But he doesn't love me. Marriage is hard. You have to work at it. You can't just run when things get difficult. I didn't run. I survived. There's a difference. Silence. He said you humiliated him at some work event, Mrs. Winters said. Voice colder now. Said you disrespected him in front of his colleagues. I wore a dress. A beautiful dress. And I refused to hide. That's what he can't forgive. He gave you a good life, Nadia. You should be grateful. Grateful for what? For being told I was too dark? For being hidden at events? For giving up my career so he could build his? You're being dramatic. I'm being honest. And I'm done apologizing for it. You're making a mistake. Maybe. But it's my mistake to make. Nadia hung up. Aminata looked at her. You okay? Yeah. I am. And she meant it. Nadia lay in Aminata's guest bed. Stared at the ceiling. Her phone sat on the nightstand. Silent now. Derek had stopped texting. She thought about the fellowship. About Baltimore. About getting her white coat back. About doing the work she was born to do. She thought about Derek. About the boy she'd met in Dakar. About the promises he'd made. About the man he'd become. She felt sad. But not regret. Sad for the time lost. For the woman she'd had to bury to stay married. For the dreams deferred. But not regret. Because tomorrow she'd wake up free. Tomorrow she'd start building a life that was hers. Tomorrow she'd stop apologizing for taking up space. Her phone buzzed one last time. Text from Derek. I'm sorry. For everything. I know you won't believe me. But I am. I hope you find what you're looking for. She read it. Stared at it for a long time. Then she typed back. I hope you find yourself. The real you. Not the one you think white people want you to be. She hit send. Then she turned off her phone. Closed her eyes. And slept. For the first time in 3 years, she slept without crying. The Johns Hopkins Medical Campus looked different in winter. Bare trees lined the walkways. Students hurried between buildings. Breath visible in cold air. Snow from last week's storm still clung to the edges of sidewalks. Nadia stood outside the research building. Her hands were shaking. Not from cold. From fear. From anticipation. From the knowledge that walking through those doors meant choosing a future she'd almost forgotten was possible. She wore navy pants and a cream blouse. Her hair was natural, pulled back with a gold clip. The same clip from the Gala. Her grandmother's necklace sat against her collarbone. Her phone buzzed. Text from Aminata. First day. You got this. Call me after. Another from Julian. Welcome to Baltimore. Coffee later. I'm on campus until 3. She smiled. Put the phone away. Took a breath. Then walked inside. The office was smaller than Nadia expected. Bookshelves lined with medical journals. A desk covered in papers. Photos on the wall of Patricia with colleagues in Kenya, Ghana, Liberia. Women in white coats. Children smiling in clinics. Patricia stood when Nadia entered. Hugged her. Welcome. How was the drive from Boston? Long. But good. Gave me time to think. About whether I'm ready for this. Patricia gestured to a chair. They sat. Are you? I don't know. 3 weeks ago, I was someone's wife. Now I don't know what I am. You're a doctor. You always were. The marriage just made you forget. Nadia's throat tightened. What if I can't do this? What if I've been away too long? Then you'll remember. Medicine isn't something you forget. It's in your bones. Patricia leaned forward. Let me tell you what the next 6 months look like. You'll work with our team on malaria prevention protocols, field research, data analysis, clinical trials in partnership with hospitals in Senegal and Ghana. You'll also shadow physicians here at Hopkins as part of your re-entry requirements. It's going to be exhausting, challenging, sometimes frustrating. And at the end, you'll have your clinical hours, your research published, your confidence back. And if the Hopkins program accepts you, which I think they will, you'll be ready to return to practice. Nadia felt tears coming. Fought them back. Why are you doing this for me? Because someone did it for me once. When I left my ex-husband, I was broken. Convinced I'd wasted my best years. A mentor gave me a research position. Told me the same thing I'm telling you now. You're not starting over. You're starting from experience. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Wait until you see your desk. It's buried under 20 years of filed data that needs digitizing. Nadia laughed. It felt good. Real. The lab was bright. White walls. Long tables covered with microscopes and computers. A team of 6 researchers, all younger than Nadia, looked up when Patricia brought her in. Everyone, this is Dr. Nadia Osei. She'll be joining us for the next 6 months. Nadia, this is your team. Introductions were made. Names she'd forget and relearn. Tyler, mid-20s, from Seattle. Priya, early 30s, from Mumbai. Kwame, late 20s, from Accra. Chen, wait, can't use that name. Marcus, can't use that either. Raymond, late 20s, from Chicago. They were kind, welcoming, showed her to her desk, explained current projects, spoke in language she understood, medical terminology that felt like coming home. By noon, she was elbow-deep in data. Infection rates in rural Senegal. Treatment outcomes. Mortality statistics for children under 5. The numbers told stories. Children dying from preventable disease. Families devastated by loss. Systems failing the most vulnerable. Her father's voice echoed in her head. Medicine is holy work. We stand between death and life. Never forget that. She hadn't forgotten. She just stopped believing she was allowed to stand there. Julian was waiting at a corner table. He saw her, stood, smiled. Dr. Osei. How does it feel to be back? She sat. Terrifying. Exhilarating. Right. That sounds about perfect. He pushed a coffee toward her. Vanilla latte. I guessed. Good guess. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Students moved around them. Laughter. Conversation. Life. How's the apartment? Julian asked. Small. Furnished. 2 blocks from campus. It's perfect. Nadia had found a studio in Charles Village. 1 bedroom. Kitchen the size of a closet. But it was hers. No one to tell her what to wear. What to say. How to exist. And Derek. Her stomach clenched at the name. His lawyer sent divorce papers last week. I signed them. Sent them back. How do you feel about that? Relieved. Sad. Free. All of it. Julian nodded. My mom used to say grief and relief can live in the same heart. You can mourn what you lost and celebrate what you found. Your mom sounds wise. She was. He paused. I'm proud of you. I know I don't have the right to say that, but I am. Thank you. And you have every right. You helped me get here. You got yourself here. I just reminded you that you could. They walked through campus. The sun was setting early. Winter light turning everything gold. Can I ask you something? Julian said. Of course. Do you think you'll ever trust someone again? Romantically. The question caught her off guard. I don't know. Maybe. Eventually. Right now, I'm just learning to trust myself. That's the most important part. What about you? Is there someone? He smiled. Not currently. There was. Another doctor. It ended about a year ago. She wanted marriage. Kids. The whole package. I wasn't ready. Why not? Because I watched my father destroy my mother with promises he never kept. And I'd rather be alone than risk becoming him. You're not him. How do you know? Because you see women as whole people. Your father didn't. Derek didn't. That's the difference. They stopped walking. Faced each other. Can I be honest about something? Julian said. Please. When I saw you at the gala, I thought you were the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. Not because of the dress, though that helped. Because of the way you held yourself. Like you'd been underwater for years and finally came up for air. Nadia's heart hammered. Julian. I'm not saying this to pressure you. Or to rush anything. I just want you to know that when you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'd like to take you to dinner. Not as colleagues. As something more. She stared at him. At this kind, brilliant man who saw her. Really saw her. I'm not ready, she said softly. I know. I need time. To heal. To remember who I am outside of being someone's wife. I know. That's why I'm not asking now. I'm asking eventually. She smiled. Eventually sounds possible. Good. That's all I need. Derek sat in his office. The same corner office with the glass walls. But it felt different now. Smaller. Emptier. His assistant was gone. Lauren had quit 2 weeks ago. Took a job at a competitor. Didn't even give notice. Just sent an email and disappeared. The promotion was gone. Given to Garrett instead. Derek had to smile and congratulate him. Had to pretend it didn't feel like being erased. His marriage was gone. The divorce papers sat on his desk. Signed. Final. Over. He picked up his phone. Scrolled to Nadia's number. Still saved. Still there. He'd typed and deleted 100 messages over the last 3 weeks. I'm sorry. I miss you. I was wrong. Please come back. He never sent any of them. Because he knew the truth. She wasn't coming back. And she shouldn't. He opened his desk drawer. The wooden box was still there. The photo of Nadia in her white coat. He stared at it. When had he stopped seeing her as a person and started seeing her as a problem? When had her skin become a liability instead of a gift? When had white approval become more valuable than her love? He couldn't pinpoint the exact moment. It had been gradual. Insidious. A slow poison he'd drunk willingly. His phone rang. His mother. He didn't answer. She'd called every day since Nadia left. Told him to fight for his marriage. To make Nadia see sense. To be a man. He was tired of being the man his mother wanted him to be. The man his white colleagues expected him to be. The man who hated himself enough to hate everyone who looked like him. He was just tired. A knock at his door. Garrett. Hey. Got a minute? Sure. Garrett came in. Saturday. I wanted to talk to you about the promotion. Derek's jaw tightened. Congratulations again. Thanks. But that's not why I'm here. Garrett paused. Catherine told me what happened. With you and Nadia. It's personal. Not work-related. I know. But I wanted to say something anyway. I met Nadia at the Gala. Talked to her for about 10 minutes. She's incredible. Brilliant. Kind. And you treated her like she was invisible. Derek's face burned. You don't know what you're talking about. I think I do. I've watched you for 3 years. Watched how you never mentioned your wife. Never brought her to events. The one time you did, you acted like she was a burden. And when she showed up looking like a queen, you panicked. Get out of my office. I'm saying this as a friend. You need help. Real help. Because the way you treated that woman, the self-hatred driving it, it's going to destroy you if you don't deal with it. I said get out. Garrett stood. I hope you figure it out, man. I really do. He left. Derek sat alone. Stared at the photo. Then he did something he hadn't done in years. He cried. Nadia unpacked the last box. Books. Her father's medical texts. Her grandmother's journal. Photos from Dakar. She placed them on the small bookshelf. Made the apartment feel like home. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello. Dr. Osei. This is Dr. Helena Grant from Johns Hopkins Admissions. Nadia's heart stopped. Yes. I'm calling about your application to our physician reentry program. I wanted to let you know that the committee reviewed your file. Your credentials are exceptional. Your research is exactly what we're looking for. And Dr. Monroe and Dr. Foster both submitted glowing recommendations. And we'd like to offer you a position. Starting in March. Pending final board approval, which is just a formality. Nadia couldn't speak. Dr. Osei. I'm here. I just Thank you. Yes. I accept. Wonderful. We'll send the formal offer letter this week. Welcome back to medicine, Dr. Osei. They hung up. Nadia stood in her tiny apartment, surrounded by boxes, by books, by the pieces of a life she was rebuilding. She called Aminata. I got in. Aminata screamed. I knew it. I knew it. I start in March. We're celebrating. This weekend. I'm driving down. We're getting dressed up. We're going somewhere expensive. We're toasting to new beginnings. Nadia laughed. Cried. I love you. I love you too, baby. You did it. You actually did it. After they hung up, Nadia sat on her bed, looked around her apartment. Small. Simple. Hers. She thought about Derek. About the house in Beacon Hill. About the life she'd left behind. She felt no regret, only relief. She'd chosen herself, and it had cost her everything, and given her everything back. The Atlantic Ocean stretched endless and blue beyond the clinic windows. Waves crashed against the rocky shore. Gulls circled overhead. The sun was warm, the kind of warm that sank into skin and bones and made everything feel possible. Nadia stood in the small examination room, stethoscope around her neck, white coat clean and pressed. A little girl sat on the table. 5 years old. Fever for 3 days. Her mother stood beside her, worried. It's malaria, Nadia said in Wolof. But we caught it early. 3 days of treatment and she'll be fine. The mother's face relaxed. Thank you, doctor. Nadia handed her the prescription, explained the dosage, told her to come back in a week. When they left, she stood at the window, looked out at the ocean, at the city she'd left 10 years ago, the city that had welcomed her back like she'd never left. 6 months had passed since Baltimore, since the fellowship, since choosing herself. 6 months that felt like a lifetime. The clinic was small, funded by Patricia's foundation, staffed by local physicians and international fellows. They treated hundreds of patients a week. Malaria, tuberculosis, preventable diseases that shouldn't kill children but did. Nadia sat on a bench in the courtyard. Her shift had ended. The evening air smelled like salt water and grilled fish from the restaurant down the street. Julian found her there. He'd flown in 3 days ago for a conference in Dakar. Stayed an extra week to visit the clinic. To visit her. Busy day? He asked. 12 patients. 2 emergencies. 1 success story. She smiled. The girl with malaria. We saved her. You saved her. The team saved her. He sat beside her. They'd done this dance for 6 months. Worked together. Laughed together. Slowly, carefully built something that looked like trust. I have to fly back tomorrow, he said. I know. Come with me. She looked at him. What? Come back to Baltimore. Your residency starts in 2 months. You could come early. We could spend time together. Real time. Not just stolen moments between patients. Julian. I know. You're not ready. You've said that 100 times. But Nadia, it's been 6 months. At some point, you have to let yourself be happy. I am happy. Are you? Or are you just safe? The question landed hard. She stood, walked to the edge of the courtyard, looked out at the ocean. I spent 9 years being someone's wife, she said quietly, giving myself away piece by piece until there was nothing left. I'm just starting to remember what it feels like to be whole. And I'm scared that if I let someone in, I'll forget again. Julian came to stand beside her. I'm not Derek. I know. I don't want you smaller. I want you exactly as you are. Brilliant. Stubborn. Whole. She turned to face him. And what if I can't give you what you need? What if I'm too broken? You're not broken. You're healing. There's a difference. He reached for her hand. Stopped. May I? She nodded. He took her hand. His palm was warm. Steady. like it had been that first day in New York. "I'm not asking you to marry me," he said. "I'm not asking you to give up anything. I'm just asking you to let me take you to dinner, to let me hold your hand, to let me be someone who celebrates you instead of tolerating you." Tears filled her eyes. "What if I hurt you? Then I'll survive. What if you don't? What if we're good together?" She stared at him, at this man who'd shown her kindness when she'd forgotten what it looked like, who'd reminded her she was brilliant when she'd been convinced she was worthless. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay. Okay. Take me to dinner. Tonight. Somewhere with music and good food and too much wine." He grinned. "Yeah. Yeah." He pulled her into a hug. She let herself sink into it, let herself feel safe without feeling trapped. When they pulled apart, he was still smiling. "I know a place. Beachfront. Live music. The best Thai boudin you've ever tasted." Perfect. The restaurant was exactly what he'd promised. Tables on the sand. String lights overhead. A band playing baloks, drums and guitars and voices blending into something that made her want to dance. They ate fish and rice and drank bisap. Talked about everything and nothing. About his research. About her residency. About the clinic. About dreams deferred and dreams reclaimed. "Tell me something you've never told anyone," Julian said. Nadia thought about it. "Sometimes I'm grateful Derek broke me." Julian's eyebrows rose. "Why?" "Because if he hadn't, I never would have left. I would have spent my whole life making myself small, never knowing what I was capable of. He destroyed me, but the destruction forced me to rebuild. And this version of me, the one sitting here right now, she's stronger than the girl who married him ever was." That's not gratitude for him. That's gratitude for yourself. For choosing to survive. Maybe. Definitely. He leaned forward. "My turn. Something I've never told anyone. I've been in love with you since that conference 3 years ago. The one where you turned down the Hopkins position." Her breath caught. "Julian. I'm not saying it to pressure you. I'm saying it because it's true. I watched you talk about malaria treatment for 2 hours like it was the most important thing in the world. And I thought, this woman is going to change everything. And when you disappeared, I looked for you. Couldn't find you. Assumed you'd gone back to Senegal. Then you walked into that gala looking like you'd conquered death itself, and I knew. I knew I'd wait as long as it took for you to be ready." Tears ran down her face. "I don't know if I can love you the way you deserve. I don't need you to love me yet. I just need you to let me love you. While you heal. While you remember who you are. And if one day you wake up and realize you love me back, great. If not, I'll survive. Why would you do that? Because you're worth it." She stood. Walked around the table. Pulled him up. "Dance with me." They moved to the sand near the band. The music was fast, joyful. Other couples danced around them. Julian held her waist. She put her arms around his neck. They swayed. Not to the fast music. To their own rhythm. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For seeing me. For waiting. For not giving up. Thank you for letting me." Derek sat in his apartment. Not the Beacon Hill townhouse. He'd sold that 3 months ago. Couldn't afford it after the divorce settlement. Couldn't stand living there alone. Now he rented a 1-bedroom in Cambridge. Small. Modest. Nothing like the life he'd built. He'd left the company in March. Took a severance package. Started therapy in April. Dr. Reeves was a black woman in her 60s. She didn't let him get away with anything. Made him confront the self-hatred he'd buried under success. Made him name the colorism. The internalized racism. The way he'd weaponized his proximity to whiteness. It was the hardest work he'd ever done. Tonight, he sat on his couch with his laptop. Typed Nadia's name into Google. Her face appeared. A photo from a medical journal. She'd published new research on pediatric malaria treatment. Co-authored with Dr. Julian Foster. She looked happy, confident, free. He clicked on her faculty page. Johns Hopkins. Resident physician. Starting July 2025. She'd done it. Everything she'd dreamed of. Everything he'd convinced her to abandon. His phone rang. His mother. He answered. "Hi, Mom. Derek. How are you?" "I'm okay." "Have you thought about what I said? About reaching out to Nadia? Trying to fix things?" He closed the laptop. "There's nothing to fix. It's over. Marriage is sacred. You made vows. I broke those vows every day for 3 years. I don't get to ask for forgiveness just because I finally feel guilty. She was your wife. She owes you. She doesn't owe me anything. I owe her. I owe her an apology she'll never get. I owe her the years I stole. I owe her the version of myself I should have been but wasn't." Silence. "I have to go, Mom. I have therapy in the morning." "Therapy? You don't need therapy. You need. I need to learn how to be a better man. And therapy is how I do that. I love you. But I have to go." He hung up, opened his laptop again, stared at Nadia's photo. He'd written her a letter 2 months ago. 10 pages. Everything he'd never said. Every apology. Every confession. Every regret. He'd never sent it. Because she'd moved on. And she deserved to stay moved on. He closed the laptop. Went to bed. Dreamed of a life where he'd loved her the way she deserved. Woke up knowing he'd lost that chance forever. Nadia took Julian to her grandmother's grave. It was in a small cemetery on the edge of the city, overlooking the ocean. Her grandmother had picked the spot herself before she died. They stood in front of the headstone. Nadia placed flowers. Marigolds. Her grandmother's favorite. "I wish you could have met her," Nadia said. "She would have liked you. Tell me about her." She was fierce. Brilliant. She wore bright colors and bold lipstick and never apologized for taking up space. "When I was little, she used to tell me my skin was the night sky. That the stars needed darkness to shine." She sounds like you. I'm trying to be like her. It's taking time. Julian squeezed her hand. "You're already there." They stood in silence. The ocean crashed below. Gulls called overhead. "I need to tell you something," Nadia said. "Okay." "I'm falling in love with you. It terrifies me. But I think I'm ready to be terrified if it means being happy." Julian turned to face her. His eyes were bright. "You're sure?" "No. But I'm choosing it anyway." He kissed her. Soft. Gentle. Like a promise. When they pulled apart, she was crying. But this time the tears felt like relief. Like freedom. Like coming home. Nadia stood outside the hospital in her white coat. Her name tag read, Dr. Nadia Osei, internal medicine resident. Patricia stood beside her. "Ready?" "I think so. You've done this before. You know what you're doing." "I know. But it feels different this time. Because this time you chose it. Nobody else. Just you." Nadia nodded. Touched her grandmother's necklace. Took a breath. Then walked inside. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and coffee. Residents rushed past. Attending physicians called out orders. Patients sat in waiting rooms. It was chaos. It was beautiful. It was home. Her attending met her on the 3rd floor. "Dr. Frank." "Wait, can't make up random names." Her attending, "Dr. Christopher." "No, can't use that." Her attending, Dr. Bennett, 50s, kind eyes, introduced her to the team. "This is Dr. Osei. She's joining us from Senegal. Published researcher. Specialist in infectious disease. Be nice to her or she'll make you look stupid." The team laughed. Welcomed her. They did rounds. 12 patients. Pneumonia. Heart failure. Sepsis. Diabetes complications. Nadia listened. Observed. Contributed when asked. Her hands remembered. Her mind remembered. Her heart remembered. By noon, she was exhausted, exhilarated, alive. She ate lunch in the cafeteria, pulled out her phone. Text from Julian. "How's day one?" She typed back. "Perfect. Hard. Perfect. That's my girl. Dinner tonight? I'm making jollof rice. Trying to impress you. You already did. But yes. 7. See you then." Another text came through. From a number she deleted but still recognized. Derek. She stared at it for a long moment. Then opened it. "I saw your name in the journal. Congratulations on the residency. You deserve it. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you're happy. You deserve that too." She read it twice. Felt nothing. No anger. No pain. Just distance. She typed back. "Thank you. I hope you find peace." Then she deleted his number. For real this time. Blocked it. Let him go. The apartment smelled like onions and tomatoes and spices. Julian stood at the stove, apron on, concentrating hard. Nadia sat at the small kitchen table, watching him. "You're staring," he said. "I'm admiring." "The food." "You." He turned. Smiled. "How was your first day?" "Everything I hoped it would be. Hard. Exhausting." "Right. That's what healing looks like. Hard and right at the same time." She stood. Walked over to him. Wrapped her arms around him from behind. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For waiting. For seeing me. For loving me when I'd forgotten how to love myself." He turned in her arms. Kissed her forehead. "You didn't forget. You just needed permission to remember." They ate dinner on the balcony. Watched the sunset. Talked about their days. About patience. About research. About the future. "I got an email today," Julian said. "Conference in Dakar. November. They want me to keynote." "That's amazing. Come with me. We can stay an extra week. Visit the clinic. Visit your family. Make it a proper trip." "As what? Colleagues? Friends?" He took her hand. "As whatever you want us to be." She looked at him. At this man who'd given her space to heal. Who'd celebrated her instead of containing her. Who'd loved her without asking her to shrink. "As your girlfriend," she said. "If you'll have me." His face lit up. "Yeah. Yeah." He pulled her close. Kissed her. Deep. Real. Full of promise. When they pulled apart, she was laughing. "What?" he asked. "I'm happy. Actually, genuinely happy. I forgot what this felt like." "Get used to it. I plan on making you happy for a very long time." Nadia stood in the same ballroom where everything had changed 2 years ago. Same chandeliers. Same marble floors. Same string quartet playing near the entrance. But everything else was different. She wore emerald again. A new dress, simpler than the first, but just as bold. Her hair was natural, crowned with gold. Her grandmother's necklace at her throat. Julian stood beside her. Navy suit. Proud smile. His hand in hers. They were here for Patricia's retirement gala. Celebrating 30 years of global health work. Celebrating lives saved. Systems built. Futures changed. Catherine Wells approached. The same CEO from 2 years ago. She smiled when she saw Nadia. "Dr. Osei. I was hoping you'd be here. Wouldn't miss it. I heard you published again. Malaria treatment in rural Senegal. Reduced mortality by 40%. That's extraordinary work. Thank you. It's a team effort. False modesty doesn't suit you. Own your brilliance." Catherine paused. "I also heard you're getting married. Congratulations." Nadia looked at Julian. He squeezed her hand. They'd gotten engaged 3 months ago. On a beach in Dakar. No ring. Just a promise. Just 2 people choosing each other. "Thank you," Nadia said. "We're very happy. You deserve it. Both of you." Catherine looked around the ballroom. I think about that night 2 years ago, when you walked in here looking like you owned the world. I knew something had shifted. I just didn't know what. Now I do. You remembered who you were. I did. Good. Don't forget again. Catherine walked away. Nadia and Julian moved through the room, talked to colleagues, laughed, danced, lived. At one point, Nadia excused herself, went to the bathroom, stood at the same sink where she'd talked to Jasmine 2 years ago. The door opened. A young woman walked in. Different woman. Same lost look. She saw Nadia. Stopped. That dress is incredible. Nadia smiled. Thank you. Can I ask you something? Of course. How do you walk into a room like this and just exist? Without shrinking. Without apologizing. Nadia turned to face her. Saw herself 2 years ago. Saw every woman who'd ever been told she was too much. You stop asking permission, Nadia said. You stop waiting for someone to validate your existence. You decide you're worthy, and you walk in like you believe it. Even if you're terrified. Even if you're faking it. You walk in anyway. The young woman's eyes filled. What if people judge me? They will. Let them. Their judgment says more about them than it does about you. Thank you. I needed to hear that. What's your name? Kendra. Kendra, you are enough. Exactly as you are. Don't ever forget that. Kendra nodded. Left. Nadia stood alone. Looked at herself in the mirror. The woman looking back was whole. Healed. Free. She touched her grandmother's necklace. Whispered. I did it, Grandma. I remembered. Nadia and Julian lay in bed. The gala was over. The room was quiet except for the sound of the city below. What are you thinking about? Julian asked. Derek. He tensed slightly. Why? Because 2 years ago I was in this same hotel. In this same building. Leaving him. Terrified. Broken. Not knowing if I'd survive. She turned to face Julian. And now I'm here with you. Happy. Whole. Doing the work I love. And I'm grateful. For what? For the breaking. For the rebuilding. For every hard choice that led me here. Julian kissed her forehead. You led yourself here. All I did was hold the door. You did more than that. You reminded me I was worth saving. You were always worth saving. You just needed to believe it. They fell asleep holding each other. Safe. Loved. Free. Derek sat in his therapist's office. Late session. Emergency session. Today was hard. 2 years since Nadia left. 2 years since his life imploded. Tell me what you're feeling, Dr. Reeves said. Regret. Grief. Shame. About. Everything. Every choice. Every word. Every moment I made her feel small. And what are you doing with those feelings? Trying to forgive myself. Are you succeeding? No. But I'm trying. Dr. Reeves leaned forward. Derek, you've done good work these 2 years. You've confronted your self-hatred. Your colorism. Your need for white approval. You've named it. Owned it. That's not nothing. It doesn't change what I did to her. No. It doesn't. But it changes who you are now. And who you'll be moving forward. What if that's not enough? Enough for what? For her forgiveness. You're not owed that. For your own peace. That's up to you. He sat in silence. I saw her name again, he finally said. In a journal. She's thriving. Happy. Engaged to someone who deserves her. How does that make you feel? Happy for her. Devastated for me. Both. That's honest. Hold on to that. The wedding was small. 50 people. On the beach where Nadia's grandmother used to take her as a child. Nadia wore white. Simple. Elegant. Her hair natural and crowned with fresh flowers. Julian wore cream linen. Smiled like he'd won the world. Aminata stood beside Nadia as maid of honor. Patricia was there. The clinic staff. Nadia's family. Julian's friends from Hopkins. They exchanged vows in English and Wolof. Promised to celebrate each other. To see each other. To love without conditions. When the officiant said, "You may kiss," Julian pulled Nadia close. "I love you," he whispered. "I love you too." They kissed. The crowd cheered. Drums played. Music filled the air. They danced on the sand, ate thibudayan and drank bisap, celebrated until the sun set over the Atlantic. Later, as they walked along the beach alone, Julian stopped. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. Nadia looked at the ocean, at the sky, at the man beside her. "I'm thinking about how grateful I am that I broke. Because breaking taught me how to build myself back stronger. Breaking taught me I didn't need someone to complete me. I was already whole. I just needed someone who celebrated that instead of fearing it." "And have you found that?" She smiled, took his hand. "Yeah, I think I have." They walked into the sunset. Two whole people. Choosing each other. Building a life that honored them both. And somewhere, thousands of miles away, Derek sat alone in his apartment. He'd learned to live with his regrets. To carry them without letting them destroy him. He'd never love again the way he'd loved Nadia. But maybe that was the point. Maybe some love was meant to teach you. To break you. To force you to confront the ugliest parts of yourself. And maybe the best thing he could do was let her go. Let her be happy. Let her thrive. And try, every day, to become a better man than the one who'd broken her. It wasn't redemption. But it was something. It was a start.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.